Hey y'all, Moses here. In today's video, we're taking another look at Ring of Elysium. Now, just a heads up, this is a sponsored video, but I've been playing a lot of ROE over the last couple of days, and since the last few patches, I've been having a lot more fun with it than I did when it first came out. Now, this video is a little bit about two things. The first is the wintergether challenge that Ring of Elysium's devs are putting on to see if you can get your team together and escape leaving no one behind. So essentially winning a round and making sure everyone gets on board the rescue helicopter before the time runs out, or if you lose a teammate, it counts as a failure. So I had the opportunity to play with Choco Taco, a good friend of mine, and we've been playing over the last couple of hours, and we had some good times. We did have some failures, and the one thing I did learn is that sometimes survival is a little bit more important than friendship. So let's take a quick look to see how one of our matches ended. Okay,
oh my
in.
god, I didn't get him. I didn't get him.
I got one.
Nice.
Dude.
All right, that's it. GG.
We win?
Dude, I shot him like 5 times, dude, on the ladder. That sucks, dude.
Oh, man.
Can you land on the chopper? Does this hurt you?
I don't know.
Oh! Went right through. Other question. Can you throw a smoke in the chopper?
Goodbye, my friend.
Wait, what? What? Wait.
So you can see that sometimes, choices have to be made. And in Choco's case, in that particular match, I snuck on the helicopter and kind of left him hanging. So that doesn't really count as a win together. So we, again, continued to play. And luckily, we were able to secure another victory, getting everyone on board. There are 4 seats on the helicopter, so you can share them with other people. But in this instance, we were the only ones left on the helicopter. So no punishment for Choco for failing to get on the helicopter this time around. But overall, it was a lot of fun. And I encourage you guys to get out there and check out the Wintergether challenge with Ring of Elysium. Post your clips online, use that hashtag, and show us what you got out there. All right, so now that we've got that out of the way and I showed you guys that Wintergether challenge, I wanted to talk a little bit more about how I've been enjoying ROE. Now, this is not a update to the review I made. I think that a lot of the complaints I had in the previous video are still valid to an extent, but in that time, Ring of Elysium's devs have made a concerted effort to improve some of the quality of life issues I was having with the game. They've added the FOV feature, so you can increase your FOV in first-person perspective. They've added a true full-screen mode. They've tried to optimize parts of the game, especially the looting system. There are still some glaring issues around character movement, and some of the gunplay factors are a little bit wishy-washy here and there, but I've actually been having a lot of fun playing the game. To the point where it's actually kind of wrecking my PUBG experience when I go back to it, because I just can't handle the game the same way as I do in Ring of Elysium. So the one thing that I wanted to cover was just some of my favorite features and some of my favorite aspects of the game, since I think a few of you guys think I was a little bit negative the last time around. So let's talk about what I've really been enjoying with Ring of Elysium. The first thing is the glider mechanic. And this is something that I probably should have mentioned earlier, but the different packs and stuff you get in the game really add a flair that is unique. And that's something that's important in the Battle Royale genre, is having something unique. Since switching from the snowboard in my original video, I've been having a lot of fun with the glider. It adds a tremendous depth to the game, especially from an aerial perspective, where you can close gaps and make it to enemies a lot faster. You can jump off from the top of the highest mountains and kind of look for prey. Choco and I had a lot of fun doing that, just kind of swooping around looking for enemies. Now, beyond the glider and the snowboard, I haven't spent too much time with the gliding pack, or sorry, with the climbing pack. But one of the aspects that I didn't realize about that is that you can actually zip line up mountains as well as you can slide down the mountains. So getting to elevated positions with the zip line is actually quite useful. I do like the idea of the extra carrying capacity, considering the fact that the glider has the lowest carrying capacity, but you obviously are getting a trade-off there in mobility. Now, the one thing that I'm still really trying to understand or get past is the endgame situation, where you have the ability to board the helicopter, but if you're playing solo, then so do other people. I've had a lot of instances where people just camp out in the blue or in the storm or in a house, wherever, and just wait for me to get on the helicopter, and then they'll kind of slink out and get on later. I think that the radar aspect maybe should be rethought out as well. I think that revealing all the players on the minimap doesn't really make for a an exciting game mode where then you're kind of at the mercy of whatever ping or whoever you're going against. I think there is a skill aspect there, but I think the radar adds just a little bit too much of an advantage for those guys who just want to camp, because if they are camping and you're running towards them, it's very obvious on the radar. So maybe that's something that'll be readjusted. Down the road. So the gunplay, I think, was something that I was very critical of in the beginning, and I still am. I think that it could definitely use some polish, especially the gun sounds. A lot of the guns kind of sound the same. The sound modeling is a little bit tough to track in some instances, but I've gotten used to the gunplay now, and I think that it is actually quite entertaining. I think that it's not nearly as difficult as other shooters can be. But when you do get good with the guns and the mechanics, you can definitely see that there is skill involved. I think that the gunplay would feel a lot better if the character movement was improved as well. Shooting at targets can sometimes be a little bit janky, and especially when you're up close, engagements can be a little bit difficult. But I think that once they get the character movement and modeling and everything squared away, as well as maybe add some optimizations, that the gunplay on its own will actually be quite good. So that's another favorite feature of mine, is just that the gunplay has a lot of potential, and I think that, again, with some time and care, it'll be great. Beyond that, I really like the map, and now there are some aspects of the map that I find kind of interesting, and the conspiracy theory that I've come up with is that there's going to be a seasonal aspect to the map. We had this completely different map in the alpha, with the whale park and all the other features. It was actually quite a fully developed map, and I'm really interested to know what happened with it. I don't think there's any way that they would have scrapped it entirely unless there's something going on that I don't understand. But my expectation, and one of my again conspiracy theories, is that we're in the winter season, and then when it comes to summertime, that the entire map will just change. So instead of having multiple maps that would lead to multiple queues like we have in PUBG, that the map will just simply change to a springtime or summertime map. And then we could have a fall map and then go back to winter, maybe with some changes. And that will lead to an evolving, I guess, rotation of maps that doesn't split the queue and still gives people the variety they're looking for, but without too much drastic changes to the gameplay. So maybe I'm completely wrong, but maybe if Tencent's listening, that they'll steal my idea, because I kind of think that's cool to have seasonal events. Like you could have Christmas on the winter map. You could have the seasonal events for the summer and fall. And yeah, just some things to consider there for those over at Tencent. Other than that, I think that the vehicles and just the general flow of the game is actually pretty good. I think that a total amount of time you can spend in a solo win is roughly about 30 minutes. So that's about 5 or 6 minutes faster than PUBG at its highest. That leads to a little bit better of a flow. I think the mid game could use some work. I've actually come around to the spawning system as well. You have a general idea as to who's around you, and your expectations can be kind of set as you decide where you want to drop into the map. So I do like the spawn system. I would like a little bit more of a shortened lobby time. I think you spend a lot of time in the lobby waiting for the game to get started. But luckily, you just jump right in. There's no pre-lobby, so I think that or pre-game lobby like you have in PUBG. So once you get into the game, you're in the game and you're started. So that is a bonus as well. A couple of features I would like to see, since they do have decent weapon variety, is maybe a little bit more distinction with how the weapons function. I think that right now the LVOAC, one of my favorite guns in the game, can do pretty much everything that the snipers can do. Or rather the DMRs can do on its own. So you have 3 weapon slots and you kind of have to pick and choose. In my opinion, you should probably have ammo synergy between 2 of your guns with an SMG. Something that I've been doing is running my SMG in my first slot, my AR with a 2 and 4X on my second slot, and then my bolt action rifle on the third slot. So my ideal lineup in this case would be the Vector, which I think is probably the strongest SMG, and then the LVOAC in my second slot with the Remington 700 sharing ammo with that LVOAC in my third slot. So those are kind of my way of going about things, but that kind of leads then to some some missed opportunities with some of the more unique weapons like the G28 and the Nagant, which I believe are very powerful in their own right, but they're paired with ARs that don't really handle nearly as predictably. So I think some balancing changes are needed there. We're so early in the process with this game that who knows where things could be even in the next couple of months, because Tencent has been putting out patches what feels like at least weekly so far. But honestly, I think I'm really starting to turn around on the game, and it feels like it is a very strong competitor in the Battle Royale space, considering the fact that it's free. And don't forget to check out the link down in the description to grab a link for Ring of Elysium. Check out the challenge. Again, this was a sponsored video, but all my thoughts here are genuine. I really think that this game does have a lot of potential, and with the care and attention I've been seeing from the devs, I really think that we have some upward mobility with this game. So check out Ring of Elysium. The link is in the description down below. Let me know your thoughts on the video. Don't forget to check me out on Twitch at twitch.tv/wtfmoses. I mentioned a giveaway in the beginning of the video, so don't forget to check that out as well. And follow me on Twitter and all that stuff you'd be doing through the giveaway. Anyway, thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. I hope it was fun for you. And until next time, I'll see you out there.